Dude Ranch is my favorite Blink-182 record.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Enema of the State's a better album. And I think that I wouldn't have said that a few months ago. Even when we did our like rankings, I don't think I said it like that.
No, you had it.
But listening to all the songs again and again and again, I've been listening to this a lot lately. Excuse me. It has been made abundantly clear that Dude Ranch is better to me because it's my opinion, because it means something to me. But if you look at it from an objective perspective and go, okay, what is just better? That Enema of the State is a perfect pop punk record. And I mean, I have it on vinyl, but I got it on CD as well. I wanted to show you guys something in a second, but I want to get your take on this album. Do you think this is a perfect record?
Well, I mean, I'm not just saying it. Rick Beato said it. It's the perfect rock record when he said it. And I think he's absolutely right. It absolutely.
Who said it?
Rick Beato,
Who's that?
The producer guy, the big YouTube producer guy that makes all the videos, breaking down all the songs, is huge on YouTube. You should get on YouTube. It's a great place. Anyway,
you know what I'm saying? Bro, I'm in my own little bubble, man.
But yeah, so I agree generally with your take. You probably like Dude Ranch is also my number one Blink album because it's number one to me, as you're saying. Enema though, yeah, it probably is like their greatest album. And you talk about there's like one song on there that I kind of don't listen to all the time, and it's literally 'cause I've heard it 900,000 times. It's called All the
which
Small
one?
Things.
Oh,
that's the one song that I ever kind of skip over on that album, and just because I am sick of it.
So I listened to this in my car with my kids, and we listened to All the Small Things twice. I still love that song. I still jam it. I still think it's great.
I'm not saying it's not.
I think I've gotten lapped with like my exhaustion by that song has lapped me, and I'm back to liking it again. Because I definitely there was a point where I didn't want to hear anything off the album because I had heard it so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm back to where I'm like, no, this is great again. Probably because I have kids with me hanging out, and it's a catchy, fun song, and they're giggling and listening to it. And I thought, man, am I going to really spend the money to see Blink at some point? Damn it, I probably will take my kids to go see them. I don't know if I'll actually, we don't have enough money for that, but
I'm going to see him in a couple of months.
Nice. Where
at? Back at the scene of the crime, Vegas.
With who?
Huh?
With who?
They're coming with someone I don't like.
Oh, okay.
It's it's one of those like later emo bands.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. I wish I could go with you.
I wanted to after catching him on this past October, I wanted to catch him again just on a set that's theirs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just like whatever, just back to the scene of the crime.
That's awesome.
In that same city, yeah.
So, my last part of this question before I show you what I was going to show you, and I'm more showing it to the audience than you because you've already seen it. But do you think this is the best pop punk album of all time?
It's probably the biggest, but like I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I'd have to really, really think about it. As far as like mainstream pop punk, like that TRL pop punk, then probably.
Well, that's okay. Okay. Yes. And I say yes because it is the perfect blend of pop and punk. That it's the one that encapsulates pop punk the best to me, even though I oftentimes say they're not a pop punk band because I think of more of like Teenage Bottle Rocket as pop punk stuff, Ramones type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think often has been, shouted down. People don't like what I think often. So, so I will say that, yes.
What a way he's looking at it.
People hate it when you use logic and common sense. They don't like that shit, dude. The world is lacking in those two things. But yeah, I think it is the best pop punk album of all time. It stands the test of time for sure. When I listened to it, bro, it was hard for me not to put 10 songs off this album on this list.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think like, honestly, if you were just to get the music from 1998 or 1999 when this came out, it's just good pop music from the decade too. A lot more so than a lot of other pop punk. Like, to be fair to other pop punk, it's still so much rooted in punk rock that when you get down to the surface, we've talked about this before, like, maybe the mainstream wouldn't like that so much once you got past the singles. I'm pretty sure anyone can, like, as long as you can deal with the vulgarity of it, This
Right.
is clean enough that like I'm pretty sure my stepmom had this album at some point. You know what I mean? Like just because it was just one of those things. But it's also like I wouldn't say it's a punk rock record necessarily.
No,
you
no,
can
I
tell
don't
these
think
guys
so.
came from punk rock. Like it's very obvious that is where they come from, and it is the root of these
Well,
songs.
the reason that this isn't a punk rock record is because these dudes were not. These were soft dudes. They're from the suburbs, man. Like they're not. They didn't grow up even the way that I grew up. Like
So
they,
then,
you
so
know,
then Pennywise isn't punk rock, and Bad Religion's not punk rock, and NoFX isn't punk rock.
I would say those dudes are very different.
But they all grew up with like again. You want
Did
to talk about
they?
where they
They-
yeah,
they-
literally
okay,
Fat Mike
so-
Beverly Hills. A Bad Religion had a freaking butler. You know, Mr. Brett had a butler.
Did he
Like,
really? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
gonna say like those
Okay,
that's all
I guess
suburb
I guess
punk.
my initial reasoning would be skewed then. So I have to say you're right about that. It just okay. Maybe it's the feeling I get about it. Then it's like they feel like they're from the suburbs, whereas like NoFX and them don't. Like they were like more troublemakers. They were troubled. These guys don't feel. That's what it probably is. It's probably not even a suburban thing. It's like a. These dudes weren't troubled dudes. They were just guys that liked some punk rock stuff. So they made music and they also
they're-
listened to the radio. Whereas like NoFX and those guys didn't do any of that. They liked punk music. They played punk music. They wanted to be punk rockers. Whereas I don't think they cared at all about being punk rockers. Does that make sense?
So here's the thing. They were super.
I know what I'm trying to articulate, and I'm not doing a very good job.
okay,
So I'm going to get roasted for this, but it is what it is.
No, but they are more. There are no pun intended. They are the descendants of the Descendants and the Ramones. They are in that track of punk rock. That is where they are coming from. I would say.
Blink?
Blink, yeah. Blink comes from the Descendants, which comes from like the Ramones and that sort of track of punk rock. I would say it's more rooted in there. So like it's funny because Blink is, you say like all Blink cared about in their younger days was like being punk rockers or being punk. They're just from San Diego. That is really what it is. They're from San Diego versus being from LA or the Bay Area. So they're from over there.
That's the better way to put it.
And so
that's the better way to put it.
And talking about a little bit in Ozzy's book, he actually mentioned how they were more associated with like the clothing brands of like the X Games kind of stuff instead of necessarily like, so they were more into like the skate, specifically like the skate brands and stuff, whereas these other ones are more in LA and stuff. So they're thought of like that. They are also just, let's just face it, like better looking people, and I think that plays into it.
I
like
think
seriously, they look more like Hollywood stars. That they look like they
Yeah.
would be in a boy band versus like what Fat Mike and Smelly look like.
Well, these guys are like, they're like the PacSun and Zoomies punks versus like the dirty record store punks. And when I said suburbs, what I was really meaning was like, I think I really meant California. And I didn't mean it disrespectfully either. I think, because if you look at all the music I like, my favorite band is Rancid. They happen to be from California, but everything else I listen to is very East Coast. Like a lot of oi, a lot of rock and roll punk, a lot of like, even a lot of Southern punk stuff.
But that's why I think you have to always make it clear that bands like Blink aren't that far removed from these other California skate punk bands.
Well, that's the point I'm making, is that I don't listen to the other stuff like that as much.
Right. And I think
that's why I said that. It wasn't to be disrespectful.
Right. And I think I always want to make the point, like you can bring Blink, you can sort of say it to denigrate Blink that they're not in punk rock or say it bring down like NoFX and Lagwagon and all those bad and Pennywise and bring them all.
Yeah.
They're actually more like Blink as well. It just happened that Blink is the one that kind of made it out of that crew. They sort of
let's not confuse things, dude. If Lagwagon had the opportunity to be Blink, they would, and I wouldn't be mad about that.
Right. And even like even NoFX, they were stressed about it, and they looked at Blink specifically like, hey, we're kind of just not like as cute as them, and we're not as good as them, so we can't quite do it. But they fully acknowledged they were sort of in the same, they were part of the same stew that they all came out of.
Far superior songwriters though. And musicians. Well, maybe not. Travis is pretty freaking amazing, but like, dude, NoFX is so much better than Blink at songwriting and playing their instruments.
Well, playing their instruments, yes. Songwriting depends what type of songs you're thinking of, though.
Punk rock songs.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't listen to anything but punk rock primarily. So like, I wouldn't be talking about pop songs. I don't give a shit about pop songs, which is why I don't like the later Blink 182 stuff, because it leans way heavier into the pop than it does the punk. Mm-hmm. So,
but you also don't like early Blink 182 either. So I'm not sure what Blink 182 you like.
Only because it sounds so bad. Like it's like if it was recorded better, then maybe the songs would stick out to me more. But the recordings are so bad. They were so bad at what they were doing. Oh god, it's so bad. I can't listen to it. It's so bad, bro. It fucking sucks. I like 2 albums from Blink. Okay, let's be honest. I like Dude Ranch and Enema of the State, and after that, I couldn't give a shit less. Like the new album is super meh. I went back to it there's a couple songs I want to talk about, but well, let's first off, if you're out in the wild and you're shopping at record stores and you see Blink-182's Enema of the State, it'll look like this. All right. If you see a copy that looks like this with the red cross on it, pick it up because the Red Cross got really pissed about it and they had to recall them. It's just a little nugget out there for you to look for. I believe I found 2 different actual copies. This one doesn't even have the parental advisory sticker on it, so I don't even know if it's a clean copy or not. I hope it's not, but I mean, how often am I going to really listen to it? I bought it mainly for the cover art, but
you should be able to tell with the track listing. I think would be a little bit different.
Oh yeah, I guess it will. Well, this one has bonus songs on it too. This the one with the it's got a whole extra disc. This is an Australian copy, I think.
Ah,
it says it on the back. It says Australia on there somewhere. This is recorded live at the Electric Ballroom in London, England, November 30th, 1999 for this bonus disc. It's got 5 songs. It's got All the Small Things, Dump Weed, What's My Age Again, and then it's All the Small Things single, Dump Weed, What's My Age Again, All the Small Things, and Damn It, all those 4 are live.
Must have been like a UK single that they.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. All right, well, let's finally get to some song titles.
Yeah.
Only took us half an hour this time.
Sure.